swear to God, ever since I started watching Smallville, I see John Glover and John Schneider everywhere. Especially especially recently, I saw John Glover in the Mouth of Madness. He was in Scrooged, and in today's movie, Christmas at Willow Creek, John Schneider is one of the main stars. These dudes were just everywhere. Anyway, Christmas at Willow Creek was a made-for-TV movie released in 1987, reuniting Dukes of Hazzard co-stars John Schneider and Tom Wopat. It tells the story of these two, who are in fact brothers, but they're not big fans of each other. But through a series of events, they end up on the same truck driving job together, delivering supplies to the small town of Willow Creek, Alaska, along with Tom Wopat's character's very troubled son. They're not delivering the son to Alaska. The son is joining them along for the drive because, well, he did some very bad things that involved the police. Or, well, bad for made-for-TV movie logic. I had no prior knowledge of this movie, so I was going in pretty blind. And honestly, the movie's not that bad. It has more than its fair share of good moments. Some frustrating moments as well, but let's talk about the good stuff first. Specifically, Tom Wopat and John Schneider. They were my two favorites of the movie. Schneider in particular, his character was surprisingly deep, and I did not expect it from a movie like this. The movie does a good job of showing that these two are not exactly big fans of each other, and it was not just one thing that triggered it, it was just multiple things over many years. They're both flawed in their own unique ways, and this leads to a lot of disputes between the two, and even including the son. There's a feud over John Schneider's character's now wife. There's a whole thing of who their father loved more. It's a whole tizzy, but because the material could have been juvenile, but Tom Wopat and John Schneider give it legs, so it was enjoyable. I thought the son was a little bit over the top in certain places. It wasn't a movie killer for me. It just, like, if you're stereotypical, like, troubled son of someone who is, outside of that, a pretty good dude. Like, the movie does a good job of showing that because this character is a truck driver and he drives a freight, he's on the road a lot. And so he basically missed out on all the big father and son type of moments. But there are certain scenes where I was just like, all right, kid, I know your father wasn't really around, but come on, like, don't say that. I wasn't a big fan of the Willow Creek side of things, though. And not necessarily the premise, but necessarily because of the fact that these drivers are driving to Willow Creek, and every so often we get scenes in the movie where we get to see Willow Creek, and they feel very samey. The scene's basically like saying, the cannery's closed, we all have to leave town, there's a dude in a Santa suit sitting on what I assume is a water tower, saying, there's gonna be a Christmas miracle! Those scenes happen more than a few times in the movie, and I wasn't saying I was annoyed, but I was just like, okay, we get it. The town is almost like the town is dying if not dead. Like, can we talk about something else now? Also, there's a weird moment in the movie where Tom Wopat's character just blows up and he's just like he just says, I'm done with all of this. He stops the truck on this rest stop. He walks off and then he finds a bench and he just sits there. And then it cuts to black, which I assume was the commercial break. And then it cuts to the morning and he's still sitting there. John Schneider's character is on the truck drinking his coffee from a thermos, and his son is trying to walk over there to see if he's okay. Because of how the movie's structured, it looks like those people may have just been sitting there for, like, say, 7, 8 hours? Like, why were they sitting there for so long? Was Tom Wopat's character so deep in thought that he just, like, literally watched the sun rise, like Jay's character in Men in Black? Like, how long was he sitting there? I could poke holes in the movie, sure, but at the end of the day, the movie is good for what it is. It is actually genuinely heartwarming in places. The acting is solid all around, so it's a mixed bag, but I do give it a recommendation.